Hello everyone, welcome to the writing class. In this video, we are going to learn how to write a graph essay. The lesson was different types of line graphs, various types of trends and key features in a graph, and writing complex sentences. There are different types of graphs which you can interpret and write in detail about what is happening in the graph. It is line graph, table, pie chart, and bar chart. For this lesson, we will be concentrating only on line graph. Later, I will teach you table, pie chart, and the bar chart also. Now let's look at different types of line graphs. In picture 1, you can see single line graph. You see there is only one line visible here. The second graph is a double line graph. You see only two lines here, okay? And the last one is a multiple line graph with more than two lines. For your exam, level 4 exam, and for the IELTS, you will be usually asked to interpret a double line graph or a multiple line graph. You will never get a single line graph question, and you will never be asked to interpret a single line graph. It is usually double or multiple, okay? When you are starting the line graph essay, there are certain terms you need to know about. The vocabulary for the graph, you need to know about it. So let's start and let's see the different types of words you are going to use in writing your graph essay. To begin the essay, you need to know about the different trends in the graph. Now, what is a trend? A trend is a general direction, a pattern or movement. Like you can see in this graph here, when you look at it from January to March, what is the direction of the line? It is straight. You don't see any change in it. But if you observe from March to April, the line is going up. Okay. From April to May, the line is coming down. Again, from July to August, it is going up. And between September and December, it is going down, up, and down. So this movement in the graph is called as a trend. These are the different types of trends we have seen in the previous slide. When the line in the graph goes in the upward direction, or the movement, the pattern of the line is upward or going up, it is called as an upward trend. If the line is going down, you call it a downward trend. And if there are no changes, like from January to March, you have seen there is no change, it's the same. It is called as same trend. And you have seen from September to December that it's going up and down, up and down. When you see such a pattern in the graph, it is called as fluctuating trend. So I will teach you in today's lesson the words you need to use when you see upward trend in the graph, downward trend in the graph, same trend, and a fluctuating trend. What is the vocabulary? What words you will use? All the time you cannot say there is an upward trend, downward trend. Upward trend, downward trend cannot be repeated many times. Okay, you have to use different words. When the trend is upward, there are certain words you need to use. When the trend is downward, there are certain words you need to use. Okay, let's see what are those words. Now, observe carefully the verbs used to describe the trends. Here there are many words given, and some words are for upward trends, some are for downward trends. You can pause the video, and in your exercise book you can write the words which is used for upward trend and the words which are used for downward trend. Later you can check your answers. Okay. These are the words you use for upward and downward trends. To describe the upward trend, you use the words like climb, grow, increase, jump, go up, rise, rocket. These are some of the words. There are many words which you can use, but because this is the basic graph interpretation and you are writing it for the very first time, these are the words which I'm going to give you. But if you want, you can use the synonyms of increase, grow, and you can use it when you are describing an upward trend. Now, for the downward trend, to describe the downward trend, you can use the words decline, decrease, drop, fall, go down, plummet, plunge. Okay? Now, all these words are in the present tense. Remember, when you are writing a graph, essay, you need to decide before only whether you want to write the whole essay in the present tense or in the past tense. And your whole essay should follow the same tense. You cannot change the tense in between. So if you decide to write the graph essay in past tense, you need to change these verbs into the past tense. Now pause the video again and see how you can change it. Write down in your exercise book and then you can play the video again and check your answers. This is how you change the verbs from present tense to past tense. To some verbs, you are only adding ed for the regular verbs, and for the irregular verbs, you have to completely change the spelling. You can make a note of it, and when you are writing a graph essay for practice, you can look at these words and write down. If you use it many times, you will easily remember them, and in exam, it won't be difficult for you to continue with it. Now, when the trend is same, it is not moving in one place. What are the words you use? Level off, stay the same, remain constant. And when the trend is moving up and down, what words you will use? Fluctuate, fluctuation, undulate, vary, variation. Now, all these verbs are again in the present tense. So pause the video. In your exercise book, write the past tense of these verbs and check your answers. Now, these are the past tense form of the verbs. Leveled off becomes leveled off. Stay the same becomes stayed the same. Remain constant is remained constant when you are writing it in the past tense. Same way with fluctuated, undulated. Now, when your trend reaches the highest point, these are the words you can use. Peak, reached a peak or hit the highest. And when the trend in the graph reached the lowest point, these are the words you use. Bottom out, touch the lowest level, reach the lowest point. If the change, when the graph is moving, when the trend is showing a direction in the upward, from one point of time or from one point to another point, you need to look at the difference. If the difference is very small, for example, if you are writing a graph about sale of mobile phones, and the sale of mobile phones in January or in 2010 was only 200, and it increased, it went up in February to 250. Now, how much is the change? From 200 to 250, the change is very minimum, like 50. So, when the change is very small, you use these words: gradually, moderately, modestly, slightly, slowly, and steadily. And if the change is big, for example, the sale of mobile phones was 200 in the first month and it increased, it went up to 500 or 600 in the next month. Now from 200 to 600, the difference is big. So when there is a big change, you will use the words considerably, dramatically, rapidly, sharply, significantly, and steeply. You need to memorize these words, the verbs used to describe the trends, the adjectives or adverbs used to describe the degree of change, to mention the degree of change, if the change is a small change or a big change. To write about that, you need these words. So learn the words, their meanings, and also the spellings, because you will be penalized if you write wrong spellings in your graph description. Now, another important thing to remember when you are writing a graph essay is the usage of prepositions. You use the prepositions to describe the dates and the statistics, the numbers given in the graph. So when you are describing the dates, this is how you write. If you want to write about a change in December, so for month, you will say in December in 2005. If you're talking about two time periods, you can say from 2001 and 2010, or between 2001 and 2010. You can use any one of this. By 1998, over a 10-year period. If you're talking about the overall thing in the graph, you can use over a 10-year period, only for dates. When you are writing about the numbers, how much is the change from 200 to 250? So you can say an increase of 25% by 10% from 200 to 250, from 200 dropped from 200 to 100 in a period of 6 months, over a period, like that. These are the prepositions you use for dates and numbers. Look at this graph. This graph shows number of restaurants opened in two cities. What are the two cities mentioned here? Muscat and Nizwa. And what is the time period? 2012 starts here to 2020. And what is the units of measurement? It's the number 200, 400, 600, 800, 1000, 1200, 1400, and 1600. Now these are the trends in the graph. When you look at it from 2012 to 2013, the blue line is for Muscat. So the number of restaurants in Muscat showed a downward trend. So what words you will use here? You can use the words like decrease, decline, dropped, plunged, like that. Now from 1000, they have come down to 350. So the difference is big. There is a big change. So you can say decreased dramatically, decreased significantly, dropped dramatically, dropped significantly, like that. Now, when you look at the trend from 2013 to 2015, there is no change. So, it is a same trend, stable trend. So, you can say remain the same, remain constant, stayed the same, and all. Now, when you look at the line for Nizwa, the restaurants open in Nizwa from 2012 to 2014 shows an upward trend. You see, it's going up, upward trend. So, what are the words you use to describe the upward trend? Went up, grew, improved, climbed, jumped, increased. These are the words you use to describe this trend. Now, how much? How much is the degree of change? From 400 to 800. So it is neither very big, not a dramatic one, but it's not very small. So you can say considerably. The change is considerable. So considerably you can use. Now, when you look at the Muscat line, the line for the Muscat, the blue line, you see it reached 1400, which is the highest point here. It never reached 1400 before. So when a line reaches the highest point, you say reached a peak, or peaked at, or reached the highest point. And look at 2017, the line for Nizwa, it reached the lowest point. So at this point, you can say bottomed out, steeped, or reached the lowest point. Now from 2018 to 2020, it is the same. There is no change. So you need to use the words which I have already given you in the previous slides for describing the stable trend. Okay. Now, how to write the sentences. I will teach you 4 complex sentence structures which you can use in your graph essays. These are very basic, But if you go for simple sentences, your graph essay will not look a professional or a well written paragraph. Okay, so if you want to have a well written paragraph, you must include complex sentences in it. For example, the first type of sentence is you will start your sentence with subject. Subject is usually the title of the graph. It is given in the question and it is also given on the top of the graph. So you begin your sentence with a subject. Then you write the verb depending on the trend you see. If the trend is upward, use the words like increase, grew, climbed, jumped, like that. If you see the trend, downward trend, you can use the words fell, decline, decrease, dropped. So here we use the word fell as a verb. Now how much is the difference? If the difference is big, you use dramatically, significantly. If the difference is small, you say gradually, slowly, slightly. So here the difference is big, so we use the word dramatically. So verb followed by degree of change or movement, adverb, and then the specific numbers from how much to how much. From 200 to 400, 400 to 800, 800 to 1000, like that. Here the change is from about 5000 to 2500, half. From 5000 it came down to 2500. When did this happen? Between 2018 and 2019. This is the first sentence structure. You start your sentence with a subject followed by a verb and adverb. Adverb is nothing but the degree of change. Then number. From how much to how much change. How much it was previously and how much is the change now. And when. When did this happen? Including all this information is necessary to make it clear for the reader. Now let's look at the second sentence. This second complex sentence structure where we start the sentence with the time period. Okay, there we started with the subject. Now we are starting with the time period. So first you will write the time period when. When did it happen? Between 2018 and 2019, between January and February, between Sunday to Thursday, anything. So time period you have to write down. Then you write the subject. Subject is nothing but the title in the graph. Where is the title given? In the question or on the top of the graph. So you write the subject. The subject here is the number of students. What was the verb we used there? Fell. If it is a downward trend, we use the verbs to describe the downward trend. If the trend is upward, we use different words. So fell, and how it fell? Dramatically. Then you write from how much to how much. Specific numbers. Clear? Let's move on to the third structure. Now, in the third structure, you will start your sentence with there was a. If you are writing your graph in a past tense, you will use there was a. Now, earlier we were writing the subject, the time period followed by the verb. But here we are using adjective and noun structure. So what all degree of changes you have used previously as adverbs, you use them here as adjectives simply by removing the ly. Dramatically becomes dramatic, gradually becomes gradual, steeply becomes steep, slightly becomes slight. Okay, and the verb becomes a noun, so you will write the present tense of the word. Like fell is the verb in the past tense. Fall, you will make it to the present tense, the root verb word, and write fall. Okay, first you will write there was a, then the degree of change, how much it changed, slightly, considerably, or gradually, but without ly, because you're making it as an adjective here. You're showing the quality here, not adding the information to the verb. Okay, so you remove that ly and write that degree of change in the beginning after there was a. Then you write the noun fall, jump, climb without ed, remember. Okay, not in the past tense. Then you will write the title. What is the title? The number of students. Remember to add the preposition here. There was a dramatic fall. If you don't write in, just write the number of students, the sentence will be grammatically incorrect. So you need to add a preposition here. There was a dramatic fall in the number of students. Then you will write the amount, the figure. From how much to how much? From 5,000 to 2,500. Then the time period. When did this happen? Between 2018 and 2019. Clear? Now let's look at the final. The number of students, you will start your final structure with the word the number of students. The first sentence or the first phrase of the sentence will be the title. The number of students is your title or the subject of the graph. Then you can use a verb in the past tense like experienced, witnessed, showed, illustrated, and words like that in the past tense. Then again, article, adjective, and noun. There you use dramatic fall. Here you will say a dramatic fall. The title, then a past tense verb to demonstrate or to show, like experience, showed, witnessed, demonstrated, illustrated, the words like that. And then you will use an article, adjective, and noun. Then the specific numbers from how much to how much. And finally, you will write the time period. When did this happen? This is the fourth complex sentence structure. So when you are writing your graph essays, I suggest you to follow alternatively these four complex sentence structures in your writing to make it look nice and clear. Let's compare all the four sentences here on this slide. The first one starts with the title or the subject, followed by a verb, fell, followed by an adverb or degree of change dramatically. Then comes the specific numbers from how much to how much, and then comes the time period. The second sentence starts with the time period, followed by the title or the subject, then the verb and the degree of change and the specific number. When you compare these two sentences, there is only a slight difference. This last sentence became the first sentence here and all the others remain the same. Now when you look at the third sentence, you start with there was a. You will not write any subject or anything, but you just start with there was a, and you will use the degree of the movement or degree of change first and followed by noun. Whereas in these two sentences, you were using the verb first followed by the degree of change. But here you will use the degree of change first followed by the noun. And when you are changing it, putting it before the noun, remove this ly and make it dramatic, considerable, significant, gradual, like that. Then you write the title or the subject, the specific numbers, and the dates. The last one also, you will start with the title or the subject, which is the number of students, experienced, showed, demonstrated, illustrated, verbs like that you can use here. Then add an article, adjective, noun, then specific number and date. I hope it is clear for you. In the next lesson, we are going to look at how to paraphrase and write the introduction for the graph essay and the body paragraphs. I will also share with you how you can analyze the graph and how you can decide or group the main features to be written in the graph essay. If you have any doubts, you can write in the comment section so that I can get back to you soon. So for such videos on level 4 writing, which is based on the IELTS format, you can like so that the video will be saved for you, and you can share it with the other students who would find it helpful. And you can also subscribe the channel so that whenever I post a new video for your class, you can immediately get it. Thank you.